こっちにする。
あ、でもあれにすれば、あれ切っちゃえば終わる。
あ、はい、そうそう。あっち。今日は、これで、だけでやります。
こっち打つんだよ。
そうです。ちょっと、
休みだったかな。なんで打つこういう
こっちの、
ね。
アカウント
ハロー
がこれができれば。
繋がってない。聞こえてない。ほい。
うん、なんか繋がってないから。
これここ。あ、
はいはいはい。
これで来てるの。ハロ
待ってる間に、I think in the middle of this, there is a technology milestone in food analysis.
ー。これ持ってるし、これも持ってる。全部持ってる。
During the waiting time, please so there are several sheets.
もしくはここに行ってみよう。
ああ。
僕、作業してるのが出る。
はい。したら、今これは多分そのパソコンの
じゃあ、
画面が出てる。
これと一緒だから必ず見える。
うん。
発表画面が出てる。
発表画面はどう？
これを見えなくしとくとか。
あ、
大丈夫。
これでスライドショーにすれば大丈夫です。あ。
向こう繋がってるかどうかは。
ハロー。でも、この声が聞こえてない。
うん。
聞こえないね。
でも、向こうも声入ってる。
見えるんですよね。
いや。
これがこの
それか。こ
マイクと、スピーカーとカメラ。
カメラとマイク。
はい、そうです。
ハロー。ハロー。
ここに言わなきゃダメなんだよ。
ハロー。
あ、聞こえてるっぽい。
あ、聞こえてる？
うん。
Can you hear us?
Hello, hello. Yeah, we can hear your voice clearly. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. じゃあ、これで大丈夫？
大丈夫。
これで大丈夫。あ、いいそうですね。はい、この姿勢を。
これも入ってて、音が出て。あ、でもできてる。なんか、これがまだ。OK です。これで大丈夫と思います。
大丈夫？始めていい？
はい、大丈夫です。
申し訳ないです。
はい、はい。
すいません、皆さん。
あ、それ。
で、始めましょうか。Okay, good afternoon, everybody. In the Taiwan side, can you hear?
We can hear. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we can hear your voice. Yeah.
Sorry to have sorry to have waited for a while. And okay, let's begin. Today I was charged to do the introduction part. Before starting, I'm sorry during my talk sometimes I have a cough because of the from last weekend, I have caught a cold, and last Monday, I went to hospital, and now I noticed my catching cold is not from the COVID-19. I have checked, but it's normal kind of the cough. So please allow me to. Sometimes I may. It was not comfortable for you. Okay, let's begin. And as introduction, I want to tell something how to assemble the knowledge and experience that I want to talk more in general topics. And my name is Nakajima. I was already, I'm retired already, but still working as a specially appointed professor in this university. And the first, I think that I want to give a message to those, I think that it's something like how to survive your bitter long life from the power of living to the power of living through. If I talked in Japanese, not 生きる力, but more the 生き抜く力, if you understand Japanese. Okay, what kind of so it is, I think, the very fundamental English, but those are the very important one. I think most of you may already know, but just to think what is each word. Understanding. You see, understanding is, of course, all of you know quite well, but this is very important. Understanding means, you see, not just a know. You know what is know. But you see, understanding means more in deep. Just a know is, okay, I know him, I know her, but I understand is something more in a deep meaning. So you understand the difference of those. So understanding is very important word. And okay, memorization, no need to explain. Observation, okay, you observe many things. Okay, that was always needed. Without observation, observation is something funny, very nice. And the perceptiveness, also to look, but to understand more. The concentration, you see, concentration, somehow the English concentration means many. Okay, sodium chloride concentration, this is also concentration. You know, if you learn chemistry, concentration is some kind of the fluid concentration in a solution. So concentration, but in this case, concentration is your mental, you have to concentrate. You understand this. And the mentality, perhaps I think right now, most of you may be okay, but that also a kind of the mental power to tell the truth. Of course, I'm a bit even older than your parent, I guess, and I have many friends, but sometimes those friends disappeared. After, I don't say each one, but you see, there is like now in Japan also, if you look at TV, then I think the Toitsu Kyokai in Japanese. So I mean, there are plenty of cult. I don't say one of one each, but when I was a student, also if worked many times, we are talked, we are asked to get it together. Those I lost some of my friends who went to those another world. It's something like another world. So you see, just I can say is only be careful. Also the many cases, but that means, you see, why I talk to this is because of the mental how to you see keep your mental very always a good condition. And in the case of the young people, I will do more the serious story. When I was exactly your age, I was invited to join the lunch together with almost 20 20 young beautiful ladies together. Can you imagine? One man, just me. And I was invited, okay, please come and we have a lunch together. Then you see, I had lunch once or twice to those, you see, actually it was presently the 統一教会, 旧統一教会, it was, so you see, of course now I'm here, so finally I did not be involved. But you see, after that, I talked to my friend, and my friend, okay, I was scolded because of it's a different world. So those, I think that there is plenty of, not say plenty, but there are some cultic people. So be careful. And in my case, you see, I have many. So if you have good friends, okay, you can be okay. So good friends always help you. I think you have, also you have to be good friends to your friends. So that I think that it is, I need to say more seriously, I always thanks to my friends in my young days. Okay, imagination. Imagination also the very important word. Perhaps I think that this university, excuse me, the judgment. Okay, I will take more time later. Decision. Decision also, you need to do certain decision during your turning point. Time to time. Okay, already I think the first big turning point is you chose this university, and the Taiwan student chose Taiwan National University. It's a good university. So those first decision. But from I think there are several times turning point, and those times you have to decide your way. You cannot choose both. Of course, you cannot. If you have two girlfriends, it's not allowed. Or if you have two boyfriends, it's also not allowed. So you have to choose, or you have to decide. So decision is also the is need for your life. And action. I think that you see, after you studied, okay, you can think more, but not just only the say, only criticize, but you need to do. Action is always needed, particularly in the young people's case. You have to do. Applicability and leadership. Okay, this applicability, also the application. Perhaps I think that, okay, then, これもうちょっと多かや。No need, excuse me. これ消えないのか。これが邪魔っけだよね。このぐらいしとけばいいか。Okay, I will. Okay, and also I think what I want to mention is the grasp, entire image or holistic interpretation. I think the grasp, you know, the grasp, and entire image, whole image, and holistic interpretation. I think interpret or interpretation is not just a translation. Interpretation or interpret is somehow the very important English word, I guess, because of Now you do some kind of the student experiment. You see, you have the student experiment. Then I think that you have to, after doing summarizing your report, okay, the report always first introduction, second material and method, and third result and the discussion. So during the discussion, you have to interpret why you have get this result. Result is okay, showing the result. Only the important one is how to show the beautiful result. But you see, not only the showing, but also the, you see, in the case, discussion means you can show the result, but then what? What does it mean? So that I think that you have to interpret your result. That is, I think, the interpretation. If you do not familiar to interpretation or interpret, check the English word again, and it's also the important. Okay, and first message, okay, have interest in the society, science, technology, economy, and so on. You understand this idea? The society, okay, it's not only the student society, but also the more in general. See, now the worldwide, I think you may, long before, when it was a bit almost 30 years ago, always I asked the student, do you read newspapers? But now I don't do that, nobody. And so that because of that, newspaper seems to be no more important, but still, in my case, I still continued because I'm a really old generation. And but you see, okay, not necessary, but you see, those news about the whole society, and now you can check the internet, and Google is extremely clever. But in the case, only some limited information. The Google is so clever, and sometimes only your interest field you can search very easily, but sometimes other field you don't find easily. Of course, I will not explain detail about Russia, Ukraine, but you see, if you see, for instance, if I meet tomorrow with some international people, US people, UK, France, German, or anybody in the worldwide, okay, we are talking those international matter. So what happened, how the so I can be like a Japanese representative. So just to think about, if you go to some area, okay, any country, okay, somewhere Switzerland, then you see the Swiss university people, it's a small country, but their international interest level is extremely high. I was a postdoc ETH in Switzerland there, and in the university there was in that time when I was a postdoc, it was, I think, the same in Iraqi, not was fitted by United States, but before he fall down in the chemical weapon to Kurd. There is a Kurdistan. In Japanese, we say Kurdo. You can imagine the Kurd is between Turkey, Iraqi, and most of those. So almost 40 million people there, but they don't have the country. So therefore, they have. But those ones, I don't know that. You see, but you see, in the Swiss university, people already know, and they are against. And 10, 20 years before, the Putin already controlled Russia. And at that time, the Dutch professor and Dutch student criticized extremely about Putin. Now I understood more. But those times, if we live in Japan, it's a bit difficult to follow. But in any case, you see, just to follow not only the Japan, but also the world wide. Okay, science and technology, of course, you are the student of those science and technology. You should learn, otherwise you cannot graduate. And economy, okay, economy, some of you may not, but you see economy also, like the same as society, the economical condition. You always do shopping in supermarket and shopping in a convenience store. So just think about what real economy. Those I think so what I want to tell is general interest, general information, certain level, please remember. Of course, if you want to learn more, nowadays, you can immediately check using your smartphone. And the next one, consider why, what, and how the things are. This is also the very important one. You see the things, any issues, the reasons, there is something why. Like once more, in why Russia invaded Ukraine, there was a reason why the president, and what exactly happened, and how the things. So those, I think, always things or issues, how the present condition, then why it happened, and what exactly happened, and are there any ways to solve the problem? Okay, that I think that I will want to go next, and use your brain, of course. Brain is something like, you understand, brain, and here I don't use, I forgot to use the mind. You understand the mind and heart. Mind means something like a little bit brain, and heart is something more heartful, or okay. Mind means, I think, always, if you go to UK, always mind, step, mind the doors. If you use in England, the doors is closing, then I think that they say mind the door. So don't, normally I think in Japan we say don't mind, don't mind, don't mind. It's common already, a kind of the Japanese word. But mind, also important, the mind. Brain means sometimes just mechanical power, but the mind means brain and heart together make something like similar to mind. And mouth. Okay, now I'm using my mouth. So that means, I think, the speech or talking, or those, I think, the mouth, without speaking, without telling your friends do not understand you. So you see, mouth is also important. Body, particularly the young boys, okay, you can help to carry a heavy weight bag. But you see, after becoming old like me, I need to keep money. Otherwise, I have already the grandchildren. I need to prepare the some birthday gift. No more children, but the grandchildren. You see, the money is needed to make them happy. If I make them happy, then I think that I don't expect the return, but you see, you understand this is money is also very important. Okay, so the final one is to have your own entire image and interpret holistically. So what important word is interpretation or interpret. Okay, the approach. There are different approach. And okay, the specific abstractive, okay, I will not say everything. The microscopic. Everybody have? I have only one copy. If あんたたちがないか。いらん。まあ、暇つぶしに。
ありがとうございます。申し訳ない。
Okay, how to approach the macroscopic in Japanese 挙手的。彼らにはこれ見えるのかな、これ書けば。あんまり考えない方がいいかな。Macroscopic or 微視的、microscopic. Those are the, you see, the macroscopic way and the microscopic. It's always a relative way. 相対的なのね。Relative matter. Microscopic. You see, in a case of the, if somebody is research target is Earth, okay, then I think the small area is microscopic, and the Earth is so big. But somebody, the microorganisms, the scientist, as you see, the microscopic is extremely small. So microscopic and the macroscopic are also the important word. And here I think the what I want to say is next one, qualitative and quantitative. I think that quantitative, I think that most of あれ日本人以外何もね。Qualitative, sorry, those I think the qualitative or actually the quality, quantity. Always keep in mind the quantity and quality. It looks for us quality sometimes. Please listen carefully. The quality and the quantity is different, and the quality means you understand the quality. The diamond quality is very important. The quality of a kind of the value quality always I'm working in studying in those food science field, so my laboratory student or I know many people are working in the food company. So food company produced high quality food. You see, high quality food. And but you see, if they want to make a business, how much amount? So those this quantity is also important. Of course, high quality, much quantity. So those I think the perhaps I think that when you do the experiment, or I think that some I expect you see if in a society you have to consider both high quality food you can sell, but the high quantity. So I think that sometimes more quality, but the quantity, those I think that both, of course, it is not so easy. Okay, I will follow the next, the lumped and dispersed. The lumped, okay, lumped means I think the function of time. That means I think how to express the temperature of this room. I don't know, but maybe 25, 26 degrees centigrade or so. So in the case of the lumped, just one temperature. So normally that we can call the average temperature in the room. But dispersed, okay, we open the door. So if near the door or near the windows, sometimes temperature is different. So those cases, I think the dispersed. So in the case of the lumped, it's only the function of time. So just a differential equation. Those I think that something like temperature density. Those I think that just a function of time. But the dispersed case, function of time and space. If I say the Japanese, 微分方程式勉強してないね、まだ。微分方程式。Anybody understand what is 微分方程式? Not yet? Okay. But you will see those lumped condition or dispersed condition. You need to understand both. What is a better way to show? It is, we can say, average condition. So those, I think, it's a kind of the modeling study. Okay, I will go ahead next. And okay, I will skip theoretical and practical. Okay, other part I will. Okay, this is more the quality and quantity, or qualitative and quantitative. So just have a look. If it rains, you see in the news, in TV, it was news, and okay, but you see, if it rains, if you know the quantity, how much, how many millimeters. In Japan, we say 5 millimeter, 10 millimeter. Those I think the quantity level and also if he runs fast, how fast? Or if you earn much, it's really, if you say, okay, in the daily life, don't consider too much, like, but you see, if you know rough figure, when you become old, don't ask your friend how much salary. So just get more than 10 million or less than 10 million. Rough figures, it might be okay, but don't follow too much. But you see, rough understanding is always important. Okay, if you buy goods, what is the quality and the quantity? So those, I think, particularly if only your personal goods, okay, nobody mind. But if you work in a company, you have to purchase for your company, then you have to be very careful, the quality and the quantity after certain agreement. And state more concretely and specifically. Okay, so my message here is think quantitatively as well as qualitatively. Okay, of course, you don't need much about the quantitative so in detail, but you see, if you can calculate using your brain, I just show certain example later. You see, qualitative one, almost all, 99% of the lecture, the professor may tell about the quality. Because the quality is, you see, goods A, goods B, goods C. The order is based on the quality. You know that. But you see, quantity also, I want to ask you to remember certain time. The quantity, you always, so after understanding the quality, okay, then how much quantity? Because of the, if there's some kind of the plant A, certain substance, okay, certain example, you know, olive oil. Olive oil is now, these 20, 30 years in Japan, olive oil consumption is extremely increasing. But still, I guess nearly 10 man ton, that is 100,000 ton per year. That's Japanese consumption. But overall in the world, about 3 million, less than 4 million ton in the whole world. So that means, you see, we cannot make it 5, 10 times more because of the its world olive oil market is it's a problem. In Spain, may produce I guess nearly 2 million ton, and other countries. So I still remember those matter. But you see, if you understand some quantity, then I think that you can say something more. You can consider. So that is, I think, my message is quantity information. Okay, okay. It's other one. The more the how much GDP in Japan. Okay, GDP Japan GDP it's a growth. It's those. But even more, how much GDP per capita? Per capita means per person, just for you, just per person. So you no need to remember per whole amount. And just guess, and how much GDP in your country, some of them are from the international country. And so I think you should know your countries. No need of the whole GDP, but the GDP person is somehow the important. Not every time, but mostly when I go to when I went to the Central Asia, like when I went to Turkmenistan, and also when I went to Uzbekistan before going, okay, very easily you can find the country's information. And then the country's information, GDP per capita is also the very important information for me. You see, we only see the small area. You don't understand everything. Only the average. That also some help you to understand. Okay, just to have a look of the situation. It is, you know, the number one is, okay, it's the US is. So, okay, this is, I think, the 25 trillion. This I will skip, but you can have a look. Japan, Germany, those beside US, China, other countries are not a big country anymore. The world is just the two big countries, US and China. Other one is, Japan is still the number third, but much less than top two. But per person, we have more interest. Per person, you can just have a look. Japan, 40K, that K means kilo, that means 1,000. So roughly it is, I think, the 40,000 US dollar. About, okay, we have mine in Japanese. So in this case, okay, US, China, Japan, Germany, okay. Now I think that I want to show, maybe this is even better. GDP per capita, per person. See, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, 39, 35, 34, 1,000. Okay, but the top 10, which country is the top 10? This is, I think, the 2-3 years ago data. Okay, top 10, Luxembourg. I think it's very difficult to find a person who went to Luxembourg. It's too small country. And Ireland, okay, 100. Switzerland, Norway, Singapore, US, Iceland, Qatar, Denmark, Australia. So just think, look at these figures. Okay, Qatar. Now I think in the football World Cup will be held at Qatar from the next month. Okay, Qatar is something different because of the oil power, actually the natural gas. Our country bought a huge amount of the natural gas from Qatar. Okay, this is something different, Qatar. But other one, the Luxembourg, small country in Europe. At least you know that name, the Luxembourg, the so-called Benelux, Belgium, and the Netherlands, and the Luxembourg. Those three countries we learned in the Benelux Shokoku in the so young days. And Ireland, just left west of England, there is Ireland, very rich. Switzerland, very small country, very rich. Yesterday, one of the graduates here came to me, and he is working in Nestle in Switzerland. But I know the income is extremely high. But if you go to the shopping center, you will find. Just go to during your young time, to Switzerland also the good country, but it's too expensive. Hotel fee is more than double, 3 times you have to pay. And even in the egg, 4 eggs sometimes 400 yen. It's incredible. And in the university cafeteria, we have to pay almost 2,000 yen, and a small portion, just so it's incredible price. But you see, the life is very comfortable if you are rich. And okay, Norway also the the place, and Singapore. It's now Singapore is the #1 in Asia, 770. So it is, I think, the very rich. This is average. So 70 means almost average is 10,000 yen. average. You understand? It is the average of the people in Singapore or Switzerland. It is, I think, just happened to Singapore. Just last week, I had a guest. He is a Singaporean. Is the company's president there, and my good friend during my university days. And so you see, we also talked. Singapore is how rich are they? And okay, beside ES, Iceland also the bit west of the England, and Denmark, you know, Australia. Those are the. So this means I think that no England, no Germany, no France, no Italy. So all of them are the small European countries. They have succeeded very well. And that, I think, is a present condition. But of course, nobody knows the futures, and the things may always changing. But this is, I think, the present condition. And okay, because of some of you, or I think the Taiwan student, this is a Japanese country's situation. GDP. In Japan, $5 trillion US. But you see, national budget is, okay, national budget, I mean government budget, 1 trillion, okay. But the debt, the government has a huge debt, actually the more, but very roughly the 10 trillion. So debt per capita is 100,000 US. You see, 100,000 US. Yeah, do you understand? The meaning is almost 1,400 man per person. You see, the country's debt. So per person is huge, but somehow it's a good matter. The Japanese people, we have a much deposit in the bank. The deposit money is almost 50% more than that. So that means, you see, our country from outside internationally, if you look at our country, okay, government may have the huge debt. But you see, each individual like me or like young Japanese, okay, then I think that we have the deposit. I guess you don't have, but your parents may have. So per person. So this means, you see, per person is very much. Therefore, our country is still not yet bankrupt. And the Greece, you know that several, 10, even more, the Greek country, Grisha, the country almost bankrupt. And okay, mostly Germany helped a lot. But in that case, their debt is 1/10 of Japan. But you see, not like Japan, they don't have a deposit. So the bank of the Greek, so that is something different. So it's, I don't say that you should be national. I think that always good to everybody. But for the country, sometimes if in a case, if Japan, if many of us have a bank account internationally, in that case, the country becomes a bit risky. But now you see, our country is still, okay, it is open, but somehow most people have only the Japanese bank account, and that is the reason our country can be still okay and accepted internationally. That I think that we have to know this kind of the matter also. Okay, that is I think many times I will do those stupid questions. How many beautiful ladies in Japan and Taiwan? And are there any international person? 誰か raise hand. International from foreign countries. Okay, please tell me how many beautiful ladies or beautiful gentlemen, boys? You see, in these cases, don't say, I don't know. Just to think about this is a kind of the company's president interview. You see, in Japan, after graduation, if you want to enter some company, you see there is some level. But the final one is always 社長面接, the president interview. You see, the president interview, if I were there, I would do something stupid question, something like this. So how many? Like you see, answer is simple. How many beautiful ladies in Japan and Taiwan? And how do you guess? Just a guess. How many people are handsome? How many handsome boys? How many? Once more, please. I could not listen. I cannot hear. Sorry? 6 million. I think, okay. But you see, in the case, why? Why the 6 million number? Why 6 million comes out? You see, okay, I will go. Okay, and this is, I think, excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. You see, those cases, the question is, what you have to think is a ratio. You have to say, ratio of the beautiful lady. How you guess, how you estimate. So, in a case of the 10%, you have to say the 10% of the young ladies are beautiful, like that. Then you see, you have to guess the population of Japan, like those. So those, then you see, okay, if it's up to the population, 20. So these, I think, always, so this means in this case, you immediately think how many percentage, 10%, 20%. So always you see, percentage, you don't need think about 11%, 12%, mostly 10%. Is it 10% matter? You see, 100, most 100% always not happen. Okay, sometimes most, if you say most people, if you say most people, then I think that you imagine 80% of the people may do. most people, most Japanese, most American, most Taiwan, those are Taiwanese. Those I think that if you say most, but the 10% or 50%, you may think. So I think that you have to guess the percentage first. But that I think that it's no, you see, it is a way of the thinking. Some people 10%, some people 30%, some people 1%. It doesn't matter. That is your opinion. And after that, you see, population is, I think that you have to know. If international people, if you live in Japan, you have to know the population in Japan. And those, I think, are important. Those, I think, it's last one is something that to continue the, do you include the beautiful ladies over 70? Always, she was beautiful, but anymore, like, okay, it's up to the, and in the case of the kids, we can say pretty or cute, but maybe we don't say beautiful kids. Okay, that is not so much important. Okay, I will go ahead. Okay, I just explain here the, okay, in these cases, if you investigate, you may understand, okay, what now the internet, using smartphone, you can check immediately. Okay, that also the please check many times. Then I think that you will think more. But you see, in a case of the interview, in the final interview by the president, company president, I think that you have to answer immediately. The president do not wait you 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Immediate answer is needed. I already wrote here. In the case of the job interviews, you are asked to answer. Okay, this is the important one. Please remember, is the job interviews. You see, job interviews, you are asked to answer, which you have not expected. Because you see, okay, not right now, but you see, when you graduate or master course graduate, if you see, always interview is extremely important. And in the case of that, if I do interview, then we think about that you may prepare many things. But you see what they ask you, the question is not prepared enough. So that one, you see, from that, they may consider the applicant can have a brain or not. That I think the interview is rather serious. Not written information, not written the knowledge, but just the interview. Okay, people wait your answer just several, I say, just a few seconds, I should say. And you have to answer any question soon. That I think that, I think that, okay, it's not always needed, but please understand this condition in the society. Other question, how many cars will be sold in China? How many cars will be sold in China? I think the answer sheet is already in the next sheet, so I will go ahead. But you see, in these cases, what you have to consider, you see, how many cars, just to think about how many cars will be sold. You see, in the case of Japan, how many cars in Japan. Can you imagine the cars in Japan? That also, I think, you can consider. 日本に何台あるか。How many cars in Japan? How many cars? 意味わかるよね。日本に何台自動車があるでしょう。何台。カーズだよね。新幹線のカーズは入れないよ。あれもカーズナンバー1、2、3だね。第一、1号車、2号車、3号車、あれもカーズって言ってるね。カーズナンバー1、2、4とか。あんま関係ない。当てずっとで言ってみて。
5000万。
いいセンスしてるよ。今、her answer was 5000万。That is, I think, 50 million. 50 million. It is almost true. You see, in Japan, one car care for 2 people. So that is, I think, the 60 million cars. 60 million cars in Japan. That is not only in Japan. Almost all the developed country. If you go to Germany, or if you and also in the United States, even Canada, and most of the developed countries. So that means almost saturated. So that means, you see, of course, a huge innovation may take place, it becomes different. But the present level, the tendency, so that means I think these 10, 20, 30 years, developed countries, almost the same number. But China, not at the 50% yet. I think that when I checked first, it's about 10%, but this time I checked again, then 20%. It was different. So you see still that China is progressed. About 20% of the people have cars. But there is always some saturation. So you see saturation amount is almost 1 car for two people. So this means, you see, 1 car, of course, here at Tsukuba is, you feel more. So from that, if you guess like this, you can predict how many cars can be solved. You can predict. Okay, I will go ahead and then problem or issue to be solved. You can look at this is, I think, the application software. There is input and also output. And the answer of application software is specific. In this case, no original processing ability. Excuse me. Okay, I talked why, what, and how. So once more, I want to explain a bit more. The background, why. This is, I think, you have to understand the background. This is, I think, very important. Please remember why, the importance of why. In any cases, if you like, okay, if there are some, then what is the reason? So understanding the background, any matters, any issues. And after that, what do? You see, you have, what is it? the task setting. You have to set your task, what exactly, and how the solution, the way of the solution, how do you solve it? So how to do it somehow, I don't say it is so easy, but the important one is why and what and how. So those, I think, please remember all the time to understand. Okay, from this one comes first. Okay, in the case of the, in our case, input certain lesson, knowledge, experience, and your brain. これはどうやって消えるのかな。これの消し方。これ邪魔っ気だよね。ちょっと開けたよ。Okay. Task setting and solving. So output is so background. So we think about what is be smart or clever. Be smart or clever. So please I'm sorry. So please read yourself. So you see, structuring and assembling your knowledge and experience. You see, you have the knowledge, you have the experience, but you see, just the knowledge or just your experience cannot solve some problem. You have to restructuring, or some other word, architecture, assembling. That is needed. Okay, and the purpose of education is, I think, to increase your knowledge and also experience effectively. But my suggestion is get high assembling power. You see, always grasp the whole picture and have a whole view. So those, I think, the so-called working dictionary. Look, you see, working dictionary like it's a smartphone you can get, but you see, what is今何時
4時半です。
10分間ぐらいちょっと休憩もしてもいいのかな Okay, we have a 10 minutes break. 意外と突っ込んじゃう。ごめんね。I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can have your break. 10 minutes. Yeah. Sounds good.
could pass through this for your
もう始めていいかな。Okay. Shall we start again? Can you hear? 聞こえてるのかな。
聞こえてるはず。
Okay, we will restart. Okay. Okay, because of the other sheets, I will go sometimes skipping. It is, I think, this is just the gas price. I mean, the gasoline price in the world, and so in the worldwide, Japan is not much expensive. Italy or Germany is much more, and Taiwan is less. That is, I think, the gas price. I mean, a couple of years ago, and just explain about the gasoline price in Japan. Maybe I think that you don't have the car, then I think the gasoline is. But here, I talk to you about the gasoline price. What is the gasoline price? I mean, per liter. This is per liter, 1 liter price, almost 160 yen. If you have a car, you know more. The crude oil is very rather expensive because of the nowadays the crude oil price is also going up, and the refining or distribution is rather cheap, and the tax is this level, about 50 yen. This is, I think, the gasoline price in Japan. So country to country, these more tax. I think in the case of the Germany, it is more. That means more tax. So I think that it's of course if some producing country is less price. Okay. Also, you may note some barrel fee. Now almost 90 US dollar. So 1 barrel. Also, I think that if you know the price of crude oil, you see, in the case of that, 90 US dollar per barrel. In news, you can see the 1 barrel 100 ドル. That is, I think, the Japanese news you can see. So, but in the case of barrel, that is about 160 liter. So that is about presently 80 yen per liter. So that is, I think, the price of crude oil. That I think the present condition. So oil price is also the important factor. Okay, I want to skip for a while those. Okay. Just have a look at the sales of food industry per year. Nestle. It's the world's biggest food industry. It's Nestle, 90 billion US dollar. After Nestle, PepsiCo or Unilever, Coca-Cola, Danone, Heinz company, all of them are the huge, but Nestle is top. You see, Nestle, and when I talked with the Nestle scientist and also Unilever scientist, you see, if you are working in a Nestle, you cannot, after you can leave the Nestle, but you cannot enter Unilever. And other side, if you are Unilever worker, if you can leave the Unilever, but you cannot join the Nestle. Those, I think, the kind of the contract between the. So most people, of course, don't know, but this is a kind of the contract. And Japan also the if somebody worked in Morinaga dairy industry, if you work there, and you cannot move to the Meiji dairy company. Those are a kind of the common sense or kind of the contract. You can imagine that. So it's a competitor company. Normally, I think that it's not always, but particularly I think that Europe and Japan are rather similar. You see, those Japan, and in that sense, I think the U.S. almost no rule. So if some people are working in some company A to company B, so therefore the you can imagine the U.S. company and Japanese company and European companies. And you may think that Japan is different. It's not true. Japan and European companies more similar. US are bit difficult. You understand that it is from the point of the I'm sorry that ちょっとごめんね。Okay. Nestle is the biggest food company. The famous one, 1866, infant formula is the world first. And also it is also first one, instant coffee by spray dry, 1937. And also the milk chocolate. Okay, I skip Coca-Cola. Danone, also the first industrialization of yogurt, Danone, in France. But also I think the sales outside of France is 90%, really international. The Ajinomoto, the biggest food company, but this is except beer company. Ajinomoto is top of the food among food company, 20 billion US dollar. So Ajinomoto is famous for the umami, following the sweet, bitter, sour, and salty taste. Kikkoman also the famous soy sauce. Also teriyaki sauce, also you can find in the English dictionary. They have a very good business in the United States. 50% already just inside of Japan and international, but mostly in the United States. Yakult, I will skip. I will explain about the just of the sciences in chocolate. So chocolate, I think we can we can say the king of sweets, but I guess your knowledge about scientific one maybe not much, nutrition and the chemical biology or chemistry and physics. It's, I think the chocolate is a kind of the physics. When I have the guest from the United States, one laboratory, but in the Department of Physics, you see, Department of Physics, not the Department of the Food, but the Department of the Physics, the laboratory people measure is chocolate. I was so surprised, but it happened. I will explain later, okay? So chocolate is we can say king of sweet. And throughout the world, 9 out of 10 people love it. One person may say, I don't love it. The reason is something like, you see, he or she is telling a lie or some for illusion. What kind of the illusion is acne, nikibi, or growing fat, or nose bleeding, or tooth cavity. You see, but look at the annual consumption per person. You see, this is kilogram. Germany or Switzerland is nearly more than 8 kilogram per person. So you can imagine the 8 and Japan still around 2 kilogram, 1/4 or 1/5 of Germany or Swiss or Belgium also the much. Okay, and I want to when I somewhere not here but it's something very interesting article is Nobel Prize laureate ratio. You see how many people like a Swiss or Belgium, their chocolate consumption is quite much, but the percentage of the Nobel 賞受賞者の割合 Nobel Prize laureate ratio. How many Nobel Prize, you know, Nobel, right now, today, every day, we will find some Nobel Prize laureate. But that is interesting. So one, so all is those, the number of the Nobel laureate, Nobel laureate and the chocolate. Okay, there is a strong relation. So if you have more chocolate, you can be more clever. That's, you see, it is, I think, if you check some internet, you can find easily chocolate and the Nobel Prize laureate. You can find, and it was interesting. But that is, I think, quite easy. You can guess Nobel Prize. Mostly, I think the Japanese are okay more and more, but still, I think that compared to Swiss, you see, when I was in ETH, the professor when I was there in 1 year as postdoc, then I think the professor there and I had the lunch together. Then I think the professor there, he is also Nobel laureate. He is also too. Okay, in Tsukuba also we have some, but you see, number is very limited. But you see, those German, French, Switzerland, Belgium. So that means I think that very roughly the per person 4 or 5 times. So the ratio is the same as the chocolate consumption. So what do you think about this? So that I think that it's very huge, good correlation was found in England Good Medical Journal. You can find it is, I think, the research article. It's it is very funny for me. But anyhow, the annual consumption. So that means I think that, okay, you can see still the Japanese average is 2 kilograms. If you want to be the European, okay, you can have more the 4 times, 5 times more, but not 10 times more. Be careful, not to eat too much, but acceptable level is always preferred. Okay. And the brief history of chocolate. The material is, you see, it was from cacao beans. You can find cacao beans and cacao nibs and the shells. Okay, yeah, cacao nibs, we can get the chocolate. First, in cacao rainforest. In the pulpage first, animals first, and then the humans. These long years, humans started to eat. Okay, raw cacao beans. Purple color. It is polyphenols. ちょっとごめんね。あれが私、聞こえん。派手だってこうさ。消せる？申し訳ない。それがなんかすごくきついな。ありがとう。申し訳ない。ありがとう。Thank you. The purple color. だいぶ違う。The bitter and astringent taste. So you see, cacao bean, it has 50% cocoa butter. You know, the chocolate, the cocoa butter is half. Of course, except for water. So you see water, so that means chocolate, the 50% cocoa butter and other carbohydrate and others. Okay, cocoa butter. Of course, cocoa butter is a nutrient for baby of cacao tree. It is, I think, very common. These beans are is the next new baby. So it can be used. So crystallization. So if the temperature is becoming cold, then you see crystallization may cause, and it causes the death of the new life. So therefore, the chocolate, this cacao plant growth temperature should be higher than freezing point of cocoa butter. You know, the cocoa butter is not solid. So higher temperature is needed. So after cocoa beans, we do the 4 or 5 days fermentation. And after that, roasting, the chemical reaction, 100 to 150 degrees. 1 hour. And okay, back to the history. And the drinking cacao. In the Honduras in Central America. There is Maya ruin. Over there, before this is already started. They have cacao started to drink. So you see the drinking time of the cacao, and this is the Spanish painters, 16th century, like that, making forms when they drink. So you see from the higher place to the then you see more form can be generated. So formed cacao can be taken. Okay, then I think you may study about the mission of Columbus. Columbus has discovered. So in the fourth trip to Honduras, Columbus, they saw the cacao beans, 1502 to 04. However, they did not bring cacao beans to Europe at this time. So this, I think, that it was reported in the missions of Columbus. And but later, cacao goes to Spain, 1527. In this case, Aztec king, the Cortes, you know, the bit notorious Cortes, he met the king of Aztec and destroyed Aztec, 1521. So Cortes recognized the value of cacao and brought back to Spain. So it was the start of the, so they seem to enjoy the 50 golden cups per day. That is, I think, the Aztec king, Montezuma, is a kind of the chocolism. He loves so much chocolate, 50 cups per day. So I think the Cortes seems to find out some importance of the cacao. Okay, then I think they moved to, so cacao first came to Catalonia. You see, Catalonia, you understand, in Spain is somehow the not the one, but the certain. So 16th to 17th, the Sevilla was the center of cacao import. But since the 18th century, Amsterdam became the center. It's really like so-called West Europe almost conquer the world. But you see about the food, I mean, in this case, chocolate, moved to the Spain first and moved to Amsterdam. Okay, from this, I think the chocolate, still cacao, and drinking chocolate, that normally 30 to 1848, 49. That I think the, so you know the tea and coffee, but by the middle of 18th, or I think the drinking almost nearly it may mistake the nearly 19th century. Tea and coffee started, okay, the 18th century. At that time, about 18th century, like United States became independent from England. Those, I think, 18th century, okay, the tea and coffee started to be more and more common. But before that, chocolate drinking only limited to the higher society people. Okay, so those, I think, some big revolutions there is a four, you know, the cacao powder. Now still, you know, the name of the Van Houten. It's Dutch, Netherlands. There is a Van Houten, one cacao powder. It's a brand of, also we can buy here. It's 1828 cacao powder was started to be sold. And the crystallization of the cacao butter is the by company, 1849. It's a bit long ago. And milk chocolate in Peter and Daniel Nestle. So Nestle founder also involved in the chocolate, milk chocolate, 1875. And also Conch chocolate, Linz, in the, you know the name of the Linz, very famous Swiss. It's the founder of Linz, 1880. So those are four big revolutions. And okay, I will explain more in detail the tempering machine. You see, tempering machine means a kind of the temperature control. I will explain more later. Okay, first, science of chocolate, nutrition. Like here, polyphenol content, green tea, red wine, chocolate. Of course, chocolate has much, 0.8 gram. There is a variety of the flavonoid. There's always, I think, how many? About 10 years ago, I think in the famous professor from Nagoya, they reported how people become clever eating chocolate. Okay, so chocolate also the good source of flavonoid, polyphenol. And also the nervous system too. Also it contains some caffeine too. And the cacao trees, 22 species. And biology, the trees, the chemical biology is also the important subject. The temperature, water, depending on the area, cacao you see, still here the 22 species, a variety of the biological point. So still now, even nowadays, so-called cacao hunter is going to the forest or jungles in Central America, and they could, very luckily, they can find. Okay, now I think the more basic part, the chemistry and the physics of chocolate. The chocolate, you see, this is cacao butter. So in the sea of cacao butter, there is sugar, also dry cocoa solid, also dry milk solid. So this is chocolate. You see, almost no water. And the taste is very bitter, but because of the sugar, 45%, then I think the very sweet. So this is, I think, the chocolate structure. to Okay, the chocolate, I'm sorry, the order is not well prepared, I'm sorry. The physics of chocolate, you can see here. The chocolate, here, you see, the temperature is going up. This is the milk fat. This means, I think, the butter. The butter, 10%, almost, you see, 50% solid. That means, you see, certain even butter, it contains some liquefied part and also solid part. So this is a part of the solid fat content. So going, and of course, finally, at the 30 degrees C or 40 degrees C, it is almost liquid. But in the case of the cocoa butter, you see, from 10 to nearly 30, almost 80%. So cocoa butter is solid. It's not melted yet. But more than 30 degrees centigrade, it is immediately melted. And about 35, almost liquid. So this means, you see, it's so important. If you have your hand, it is still solid. It cannot be melted by your hand. But once you have the in your mouth temperature is around this level. So immediately melted. You understand chocolate is, you can pick, but not melted in the mouth, immediately melted. So that I think the chocolate, very snap condition, and okay, because during the this level, from solid to liquid, the taste release. It is really sharp melting. This is, I think, so this is the kind of the physics of the chocolate. It is, I think, only this chocolate, no other. It is, I think, the very strange behavior, mostly like this level, milk, like milk fat, but just the cacao butter. You see, almost 30 degrees C, it is almost solid, but immediately, it is, I think, a good condition. It was, you see, if more than 10 degrees C more, okay, not much comfortable. It is not melted. So our body temperature is around here, 36, 37, okay, liquid condition. You understand this? So that, I think, the most important chocolate melting profile. And why this melting profile may take place? So this is, I think, the very important one. The cacao butter itself is just a triglyceride. You see, triglyceride is the same as soybean oil. You see, rapeseed oil. Okay, combine just also P is palmitic acid, C16, and oleic acid, palmitic acid, POP. So this is, I think, this. Okay, you will try to understand. There is a glycerol group. You see this. Okay, this the red one is oxygen. So in the top, glycerol CH2OH. Those glycerol unit is from here. Okay, then I think the and next one you see, glycerol, this is glycerol. And what is fat and, you see, fats or oil? Do you understand the meaning of fats and oil? You see, some case fats, sometimes oil. Oil and what? 脂肪. Fat. So water and oil, both are the same. Only the difference of the, if there's the liquid oil, okay, liquid oil, we can say oil, but solid oil, we can say normally 脂肪, fat. So fat and oil is it doesn't matter, but the important one is, you see here there is a 3 unit, 3 different one. Here the stearic acid, and then in the middle uric acid and the palmitic acid. So this is SOP or POS here, POS 40%. And POP means palmitic acid, uric acid, palmitic acid. And SOS, stearic acid. So you understand what does it mean? Uric acid is very important in the middle. And always in the middle, and the stearic acid part. So because of this particular structure, sorry, it can create some structure. So that is the main reason of this melting profile come out. Okay. I should explain more. Okay. Now you understand. But the polyphorism of cocoa butter. This is, I think, the liquid. There is liquid is just one form. No, but you see, in a case of the when it becomes solid, you see, it's not even water. If you look at the ambient temperature, like 1 bar condition, the water condition, ice is 1. But the different, extremely high pressure condition. Excuse me. So please have a look of the cacao butter can be solidified in a different form. And from 1 to form 6, the melting temperature become different. Form 1, 17, form 2, 23, form 3, 25, form 4, 27, 5, 36, 3. What is good is 5. Okay, I'll explain. In a case, so that I think that, so, but how to make the form 5? You see, from 1 to 4, there is unstable. But even unstable, you can make it by yourself. You can buy chocolate by yourself. Okay, just melt it. Then keep it in the refrigerator. Then you see no more initial condition. The either form 1, 2, 3, those I think the level you can get. And then you see if you touch, it can be melted some. So there is no more initial condition once you melt by yourself. And 5 is very important, and 6 is something difficult. It's not good. So the thing is, you see, how to make best condition. That is, I think, the history of the scientific development. Okay, and in order to make that, the temperature can be controlled like this. At first, you see, higher temperature. It's a liquid condition. Like in this case, you see, also the sugar, everything, it is inside. Okay, it's starting and melting condition. Okay, then I think the temperature is going down little by little, not so quick. Okay, 40 degrees C, 30, and if you do it in ambient like a 20 degrees centigrade, it's not good. The form 2 and form 3 take place. So no more good chocolate. But in the case of the, it's presently in the Meiji or any chocolate company, they do to decrease the 25. You see 25 degrees centigrade for a while, but not, then it change. Then you see in this condition, type 6, type 4, the type 4 is coming. It is, I think, a kind of the trick. Type 4 is then you see temperature is going up. Then type 4 is very small amount of the particle, not grow very well. Just the start of the type 4, small type 4 particle. I mean the solid particle may appear. Then after that, type, so 5 means 5 crystal. 5 crystal covers. Then you see it increasing. So it is type 4 crystal is something like a seed. Then it is as a seed crystal. Then after that, the type 5 crystal is growing. Then totally 99% is type 5. But 1%, 2% type 4 is still no problem. So you see, what I can tell, you can, if you remember, there is some method. Right now, you see, if okay, Valentine is quite long ahead, but if you want to make your special Valentine chocolate, and there is certain method, but you need a kind of the machine, and you see, you cannot, this is very difficult, down and up and very, but that is one of the way. But easy one is, I think, the chocolate, you see, don't melt everything, every chocolate. Small portion, you can keep it. And finally, you can use this number 5 crystal to add Then you see number 5, 5 crystal may accept more the 5 crystal and growth. So use the seed. What kind of the seed is somehow the very important. So if you follow, maybe difficult. When you make by yourself, you see, if you understand, if totally melt by yourself, you understand the whole chocolate, okay, melted, but keep small amount of the chocolate. It's just as particle, small particle. Make it small but still solid. This is liquid. And okay, using this chocolate, melted chocolate, you may use a certain different dia color, figure or heart figures, any kind of the figures you will make some kind of the. Then you see, but in the case of before that, you can add a little bit. Then using starting from this, it is, I think, that if you do it again and again, you may succeed. But the tempering is very important. So this is a demonstration of the tempering. And this figure shows the temperature change. And also, you see, first 66 minutes, the temperature is go down. And about 5 minutes, okay, they go up to a little bit more than 2, below 30, and then a little bit over 30. Then you see 5 crystals starts. Then again decreased. But in this case, crystallization increased. So you understand, the crystallization is the key process of the cacao butter in chocolate. So I suppose you may understand. This is the kind of the art of chocolate, and even the department of the physics, they will do. So it starts from the this structure, but you see, actually myself, I had the experience of the research collaboration of the Unilever, not Nestle, but Unilever. Unilever and my collaboration research is how to make the this cacao butter from the vegetable oil. You know, the vegetable oil, variety of the, you see, soybean oil, rapeseed oil, much cheaper than chocolate. Cacao butter is rather high quality. And at that time, is when we start collaboration, it is a bit long ago, almost 30 years ago. At that time, the very expensive. Therefore, I could. So our idea was using the lipase enzyme to make from the best. So it's very simple. Like you see, the thing is you understand? Always so SOS steric acid, oleic acid, steric acid. Or always you see in the middle is oleic acid. So easy one is okay. We can find OOO. Triolane, almost triolane, we can find in some soybean oil. We can find this kind of some specialized triolane. From that, you see, we have to change here. It should be kept here, but you see, other palmitic acid and steric acid, these can exchange. Then you see POS, SOP. So plenty amount of the palmitic acid and steric acid. Then you see we can change. So that is, I think, using lipase, we can make it. So those, I think, it is still interesting one. And one more, at that time also we do cacao butter is okay. Cacao butter is good food. So oleic acid is just in a second position. But in the human milk, for the mother's milk, is you see, always industry wants to create a very high grade infant formula and those babies' milk. But some ladies, they need not from her, but sometimes they need. In the case, you see, the human milk case, like something like OPO, palmitic acid in the second position. It is, I think, very different. Chocolate is never happened in. It's the most bad example. But in the case of the human milk, in the second position, palmitic acid. So therefore, also we have discussed much about how to make the second position. So that is, I think, it is already commercially available as the human milk fat substitute. It's somewhere in Spain they sold. And still you see the infant formula, mostly I think the calcium, you know, the infant formula, the industry, they have to make from the natural resources. So protein was from the mostly the milk, casein, and also whey. But you see, whey protein and human milk's case compared to cow's milk, it's not the same. Cow's milk is more stronger, and the calcium content is much higher. If you compare, you can find in internet what is the difference of the human milk fat and cow's milk fat. So the big difference is calcium, magnesium is far different. Those mineral is much less. Okay, mineral can be controlled by present electrolyte technology. And other one, the whey protein and casein protein. Again, the cow's milk, much casein. Therefore, you see in the cheese contains a lot of casein. Cheese is content. Most casein goes to cheese, but some whey protein goes to the waste. So therefore, the whey protein can be used for the baby's milk. So the balance is, I think, combination of the normal fat milk and also the special whey protein. And the last part is still not good enough yet. So that I think the industry is still doing. But you see, OPO, palmitic acid in the second position is something still the key factor. Okay. And moment, I think that is okay. Now I explained about this. この大丈夫かな? Okay, I explained this morphology and cacao butter. Okay, also the temperature control. Okay, and a moment. I think that if some question and this, I think that I will because of this cough, I'm sorry that I want to finish a bit earlier. So this, I think, the technology milestone. It was, I think, not. It is almost 19th century, not the last century, the 19th century, 120 years before. And this, I think, this report was made by American Chemical Society. American Chemical Society, and the leader was one of the Hungarian professor, and who I know him, and also he know me very well. And once he came to Narita, and he asked me to come to Narita, just one night, stay there. Then I went to there, and I was asked to do the translates in Japanese. That is, I think, now you can find this in technology milestone in the variety of every field, not only the field, food, other fields, many of these. That is, I think, the English version is the original one because it was made in US people. And the American Chemical Society people established. But this was, I think, everybody's volunteer activities. You can get freely your national language, Chinese or some Korean or any Thai. I think the 30, 40 languages. It is amazing. But the reason is very simple. You see, nothing, no fee. It's my volunteer activity. I asked some help, my neighbors or my colleagues help, but no salary. It's their own policy. So that means still, I think that you can find this, and it is rather interesting how the 100 bit long one, but you see during this, before this, I think that, so I mean almost before 150 years ago. So that it means almost Edo era, samurai times. And there is also some development, but real rapid development may happen from the last century because of you can imagine the coal sector and also petroleum. Those, I think, develop, and then I think many lives started to be changed. Like you can, like in England, it started Industrial Revolution. All of them started these around 150 years ago. So I think that just also here, you can look at the Harbour Bush 1913, Haber-Bosch developed the ammonium, industrial fertilizer. This is, I think, happened in the, not last, but one more. So 19th century, also the basic, but still, of course, the last century also the change much. But I hope that you will check the internet, and I think that you can find in the worldwide language about also here 1953 Saran Wrap. You know the Saran Wrap, the film in kitchen. It's, I think, the Dow chemical company produced the Saran Wrap, 1953. So those green revolution, those, I think, a bit historical matter, but you see those kind of the fritz fiber. Those, I think, I hope that you will just have a look and to remember how historically the people, and after that, if I think we have the time, okay, in the case of the next time, I will meet you again, and we will think about in the future, what would happen. Okay, today I'm sorry that because of my not good condition of this, I'm very sorry about this. And if any of you have a question that from Taiwan, do you have any question, please? なんかしてるんだっけ Okay, not particular. Okay, then I think.
Yeah, for now, no particular question. Yeah. Is there anyone?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'm so sorry about my cough. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I will close. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Bye-bye.